Good afternoon. I'm Sentari Minor, a member of the Dean's Advisory Council for the College of Integrative Sciences and Arts here at Arizona State University. And while I did not attend this great institution, I am nevertheless honored to address all of you today as you embark on what is sure to be an amazing journey. With our limited time, I won't talk too much about me, but I am sure Dean Rowan would want me to tell you just a few things to help you better understand why I'm the anointed one talking to you today. Number one, I grew up in the best city in the country, Phoenix, Arizona. Number two, I'm a strong champion of a diverse liberal arts education. And number three, I believe that everyone can turn their passion into a career. Now, in my 13th year as a professional, I have the great privilege of supporting a unique social impact organization, Gen Next. In my role as regional director, I have the honor of engaging, coaching, and leading a community of accomplished and audacious CEOs and entrepreneurs in both Phoenix and San Francisco. With that, I want to spend the rest of this time to impart whatever can be considered wisdom from a 34-year-old and give you all advice I wish someone told me when I was just entering the quote unquote real world. Here are the 10 things I wish I knew then. Realize that this list is simply a compilation of notions and ideas I have learned from people much smarter than me, that I have embraced with empathy, share with you with vulnerability, and advice that you might discount as BS, but I promise you isn't. So, here are the 10 things I wish I knew then. Number one, you will fail. Of course, you know this at some atavistic level, but let me tell you, years of striving for perfection can never prepare you for the fact that at some point you will miss a deadline, you will say the wrong thing in an important meeting, you will completely mess up on stage, you will have a breakup at 22, a divorce at 30, you will get fired even though you tried your best, and that's okay. And it will happen to you more than once, and that's also okay. Learn from those moments and take them in stride and know that everyone else is failing around you too. In my mind, if you haven't learned from every time you failed, your eyes are not wide open enough. Number two, you are not as smart as you think you are. And guess what? Even if you are, nobody cares. One of the hardest lessons that I learned early on in my career was that it didn't matter if I was the smartest person in the room or had the best ideas if I couldn't get people to care about what I had to say. All your lives, you've been rewarded in a meritocracy, and that makes sense. But know that one of the most important things you can do now is to be the person in the room that everyone wants to follow. And sometimes that means building consensus and being well liked. Number three, connections are everything. There is of course the old adage, the cliche, it's not about what you know, but who you know. And while it's overused, and I'm absolutely positive you heard it at every networking event and in meetings with your internship advisors, but it is definitively true. Your next job, you'll land that most likely from someone you know or at least have connections to. So I ask you, or implore you, to build your network, cultivate relationships, and make sure you're providing as much value as you're getting. There are countless articles and thought pieces about this, but I know that for me, knowing the right people has opened up tremendous opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise. And going back to my second point, while life would ideally be a meritocracy, it unfortunately isn't, and therefore it's imperative that you use every competitive advantage you have, which in this case are the people you know. Number four, adopting a growth mindset will make you a leader. Now, as I say this, I want to first call out and name that this is a controversial take, given that for many of you, there are much researched and apparent obstacles that exist that halt success, regardless of effort and persistence. We know that. But for those of you who believe that upward mobility exists, and for those of you who believe in free will, which, and perhaps hopelessly, I do, the path to success means embracing challenges, persisting in spite of hardship, realizing effort as a path to truly owning a certain skill, viewing criticism as an opportunity for reflection and growth, and of course, not being threatened but rather encouraged and inspired by the success of others. If you believe that free will is a possibility, then I believe you will go far in life. Now, the last few, of course, as you saw, were my thoughts on you as a professional. But now I want to talk to you about a couple of things that just draw to you as a human being. Number five, work-life balance is vital. It will take you about a decade from now to realize it, but being a workaholic isn't admirable and is actually quite detrimental and dangerous. You can, of course, love your career, but know that even the most passionate need a break. I implore you to seek out interests, nurture hobbies, and find a life outside of and separate from work. For you to thrive professionally, you must also thrive away from your cubicle and outside of the office. The most interesting people are the ones who bring value from both the workplace and home. Trust me, there's nothing worse than being at a dinner party or a function and being stuck with a person who can't talk about anything other than bottom lines and emails. And above all, it's completely necessary for your sanity and health. Which leads me to number six. Mental health isn't a luxury, it's a basic need. I started seeing a therapist about 6 years ago, and immediately after my first session, I couldn't believe I functioned before it. As a society, we view therapy and the notion of prioritizing mental health as taboo, but I'm here to tell you that taking care of your mental health would be one of the most transformative things that you can do. Having the space to reflect, to synthesize, to learn, while understanding who you are and why you do what you do is so invaluable. So start now. Begin journaling, see a counselor, practice mindfulness, get your head in the right space because if you don't, those things will come back to haunt you and show up in sometimes life altering ways. Number 7, relationships are everything. At 21, if you told me that the people I not only talk to every day but rely on daily were the folks I met in high school and college, I wouldn't have believed you. But what you will learn, the older you get, the more you will need folks that knew you before you became the big shot CEO, the actor or actress, the writer, the person who develops the vaccine for COVID. And your family? The brothers and sisters you fought with incessantly will become your lifeline, and your parents will become your sought out advisors and much needed companions. And yes, you will make friends over the years. Those too will enrich your lives in ways you can't fully understand until it happens. And yes, of course, some of these relationships will naturally fall off. But please know this, your connections to people are really all you have. Your relationships help make you a better person and introduce you to perspectives you wouldn't have otherwise, and that the people who surround you are your true anchors in life. Number 8, be a lifelong learner. Now, being students of CISA, I'm positive and sure this one is not a surprise, but the older I get, the more I value knowledge. You should know that I read articles all day, every day, from The Atlantic to The Economist to GQ to Teen Vogue. I'm a voracious reader that is constantly seeking more. And as you transition from college, realize that you can always take a class, learn a skill, join a leadership program, sit on a board, really do anything that will keep you understanding a world outside of your own and keep you gaining knowledge about a world that is ever expansive. The plus side, of course, is that you will always be the most interesting man or woman in the room. Number 9, there is power in choice. You're entering the real world, and that means that you will have a lot of decisions to make. Your choices will define you, no pressure, but I'm asking you to embrace the power in those choices. There will be consequence to every decision you make, a job, a partner, an idea. The only control you have in how those all pan out is the decision itself. Be thoughtful, lean on those closest to you, and embrace the impact of your decisions. And number 10, your journey is yours and yours only. In an age where it's not only easy but ostensibly encouraged to compare yourself to others, it's easy to get caught up in milestones and benchmarks that are not your own. Sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose, but we are all the same in the end. It has been refreshing to see powerhouses I look up to and mentors who have been such a strong foundation confide in their struggles. That's all to say, no one has a perfect life, no one has it all figured out, and the best you can do is what's right for you. Now, I'm not telling you to be selfish, but I am asking you to be self-aware and self-preserving. Now, I realize I think everything I said is profound. You might otherwise feel differently, and that's fine and understandable. You're all leaving the safety of this institution at an unprecedented time in recent history, and life looks a little different than it has for any other class. But I think that's what makes my advice even more powerful. As the most recent product of the quote-unquote great pause, this is your time to reset. Reset ideals, reset values, and reset expectations. Now, my meandering ruminations are here to serve one purpose, to best prepare you for an uncertain world. And it must be said, this world is not just. Society is not equitable. Things are more often than not unfair. But I have hope and faith in each of you. You have the opportunity to create a world unlike anything we have seen before. You're all our best shot at getting things right after this tumultuous time. You are the change makers, the dreamers, the explorers who can do what we couldn't but should have. And on that road to greatness, I hope you remember my words fondly, or at least very least, just remember them. A friend once told me, allow for serendipity and embrace the unexpected. Keep an eye out for luck and jump on it when it comes your way. And I believe if you take that advice, take all of this in, then you will truly be the generation to make us remember why we're all here on Earth and the leaders to make us realize the power of humanity. Thank you for this opportunity. Good luck and go forth with greatness.